Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. What is going on, everybody? Uh-oh, somebody has a case of the Mondays. Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And, well, Bob's your uncle. Rants on the Street with Thomas Stevens. Shout out to my producer, Tyler Heavy T. Soto. Boom. Yes. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. At Better Network and all your favorite social media platforms. I am at Edward Raus, R-A-U-S, at all your favorite social media platforms as well. Woo! The draft is over. It came, it conquered, and the NFL draft is over. We're going to have plenty of draft talk tonight. We talk about the winners and losers, who my favorite teams I thought did well, and the teams I thought not so well. Looking at you, Atlanta Falcons. I know what you're wondering. Oh boy, Heavy T is going to go on a rant tonight. Heavy T is going to go on an all-timer, a bender of a rant. Unfortunately, Heavy T will not be joining us tonight because, well, this thing called work. Ugh. Work. Come on now. It's your time to shine, Heavy T. This is when you can rant the most about your team. But no. Heavy T, he'll be back next week, and we'll talk to him about what the Atlanta Falcons did. And more on that a little later. But joining me tonight, the triumphant return of the man, the myth, the legend. That's right. Back for Rants on the Street, Thomas Stevens. Yes, sir. Thomas Stevens will be here tonight. Talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers draft, which I give an A. And some NBA talk and the NBA playoffs as well. Good to have him back on the show after a couple week hiatus. So it'd be a lot of fun. But don't worry, we're not doing What Say Ye Heavy T tonight. But we're going to do What Say Ye Elliott T. That's right. Joining me tonight will be Elliott Cams, aka Elliott Cams, from The Drew Show on New Rock 104 out of the Central Valley in Fresno, California. I'm going to shout out to him. I'm an air horn too. He called me a jinx on The Drew Show last week. So I got a bone to pick with him tonight, because now he's coming on my show. We'll see who's the jinx, Elliott, later on the show. We'll talk about the NFL draft. He's a Packers fan, so we'll see how he feels about the Packers draft. For me, but we'll see how he feels about it. And I have a little fun surprise for him as well. So stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of good time tonight on Monday Night Rants. Without further ado, and I mean not much more ado, I think we should jump right into the rant lines. A lot to talk about tonight, that is for sure. We're going to start with the NBA playoffs going on right now. Currently, the Boston Celtics are dismantling the Miami Heat. How did the Celtics let the Heat win a game in this series? I have no idea. But they're up 64-43 right now. It looks like an easy win going back to Boston, which I think will be a end of season Miami. You'll be going to Cancun. So we'll see how that all plays out live on the show. We also have the Oklahoma City Thunder in action as well against the Pelicans. We'll see how that all plays out. I think Oklahoma City has it in the bag. The Pelicans are just not playing good basketball right now. I know no Zion. I get it. But man, when they play the Clippers, they're like the best team in the NBA. It's bizarre. But when they play, I don't get it. More on that later. And then later tonight, of course, we have the Lakers-Denver game. How Denver let the Lakers win a game, I do not know. The spread in that game currently sits at -6.5 for Denver, the home favorites. Now, going over this game has been driving me crazy because the spread at -6.5, I think, is right. I want nothing to do with it, but I want to bet on this game. The trends of spreads that these two teams have played is absolutely insane. In the last 10 times they've played, including already 6 times this year, Denver is 9-1, but only 3-7 against the spread. They're 9-1 against the Lakers, but only 3-7 against the spread against the Lakers in the last 10. Ain't touching it. Okay, let's look at the over-under. Cool. 217. Awesome. I like the under, but then I like the over. 3-7 over-under the last 10 times these guys have played. So you think under, right? No. Elimination game for the Lakers. I think this game goes over. So my pick for tonight, because I can't get a handle on the spread between these two. My pick tonight is actually the over of 217. I like that. You can get it right now at FanDuel, our betting show of record here on My Night Rants, for -112. However, I want to talk to Elliott later too when he's on the show because I want to talk to him about live betting, which I got him into, and he's been actually doing really well. So am I a jinx, Elliott? Am I a jinx? One team will not be playing any more games this year. Oh. The Phoenix Suns swept by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Kind of a surprise here. If you're watching the show, you know I'm not very high on the Timberwolves. I think they're a good young team. They got a bright future. However, not there yet for me. And we all know the big three, this big three experiment here in Phoenix, which I was kind of high on. But boy, did they look just... After they lost the first 2 games, I'm like, okay, I'm going to put a little money on Phoenix. They'll come back. I mean, all these 3 superstars are going to play over 40 minutes. They got to score 20 apiece, right? Nope. Okay, the 4th game. Surely these 3 superstars will score 20 apiece, right? Nope. Durant looks off. He can't make a 3-point shot to save his life right now. At all. And Bradley Beal, but before the game, he wasn't ready to go home either because he said this. I've never been swept a day in my life. I'll be damned if that happens. And the Minnesota Timberwolves, to their credit, came back and said, well, that's the first time for everything. Well, Bradley Beal, the reason why you haven't been swept in your entire life is because you play for crappy teams your entire life. Do the Washington Wizards ever make the playoffs? Anyways, now you and Kevin Durant and Booker, you're all gone fishing. Gone fishing. Sayonara. Bradley Beal. And this team has a lot of work to do next year. And I mean a lot. They got the 3 superstars, but their third best scorer is Eric Gordon off the bench. The only player off the bench that does anything. It's terrible. So, a lot of work to do for the Suns. Is what they have right now. Well, I'll be honest with you. It ain't it. It ain't it at all. You know what is it? Moving on to the NFL. Big contracts is it right now, right? We've seen some really big contracts. Amon St. Brown getting a huge contract there to be tied with Tyreek Hill for the highest paid receiver in the NFL. And now we have the highest paid tight end in the NFL. And the biggest love story in all of sports. I sure do hope there's no bad blood at the end of this. Show me the money! Travis Kelce today signing an extension that makes him the highest paid tight end in NFL history ever, which hasn't been as many as other positions, so I get it. And, half of them are just blockers. But deservedly so. He's going to end up going down probably as the best tight end of all time. I'm sorry, Tony Gonzalez. I'm sorry, Antonio Gates. It's going to be Travis Kelce when it's all said and done. Love him or hate him, he is going to be the highest paid tight end in history. He will, adding to his current contract, he will make $34.3 million more over the next 2 years. So shout out to Travis Kelce. He's in love. He's in love. And he got a contract extension, the highest paid tight end in the history of the NFL, and still doesn't make a sixth at best of what his girlfriend does. Before, shoot, I hate to do this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I hate to do this. Before free agency began, Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, well, they were all in. He said, I'm not worried about the future. We're going all in this free agency. Well, they were the last team to sign anybody. It was a long snapper. And then the draft, obviously they need a running back. Well, yeah, we'll skip on running backs. We're happy with our 5 journeymen, and 3 of them no one's ever heard of. We'll keep with that. Well, it started in this free agency with we're all in, and then a very mediocre draft, and it ended today with that's right, the Dallas Cowboys re-signed Ezekiel Elliott. Yep. How it started, how it finished. So all in, comma, my ass. See if you would have got that out there. Ended with just re-signing Ezekiel Elliott, who's way past his prime, looked terrible in New England last year, and now he'll probably be the starting running back for the Cowboys again. That's fun. So we have that to look forward to. The NFL draft. Caleb Williams, number 1 overall. Whew, I was shocked. Were you shocked? I was shocked. When they said Caleb Williams, I was like, oh, I had no idea. Yeah, come on. Overall, I think it's a good pick for the Bears. I know we talk a lot on the quarterbacks here, but Heavy T definitely feels great about the Bears quarterbacks over the years. But I look at it like this. They're one of my biggest winners of this draft. Why? Because, and I mean the offseason, really. I'm going to look at the whole offseason as a whole. The Bears knew they had the first pick. By the way, Panthers. Tepper. What are you doing? They're like the worst organization run in the history of sports right now is the Carolina Panthers. How they let this happen, I have no idea. And then you goofed on Bryce Young after all of it, too. Told you. Should have drafted C.J. Stroud. Jose says bang, bang, Niner gang. We'll talk about that later. You got a running back in Swift who's decent. A good 2-way running back. He can catch the ball in the backfield as well. I like. And then you went and traded for Keenan Allen. You pick Caleb Williams overall. And then you get Rome Odunze as your number 3 receiver, with Kmet still there as well. What they did, what no other team does when they have the number 1 overall pick, maybe you could argue the Bengals a couple years ago with Joe Burrow. What they don't do is prep for that number 1 pick. They always go into a crappy situation. Not the Bears this year. A great offseason, a great draft, and now Caleb Williams has weapons everywhere. You can run the ball. You got 3 receivers you have to worry about. You have a tight end you have to worry about. And it's going to be a lot easier for him than most first overall picks that are quarterbacks in the NFL, in the history of the NFL, really. So I kind of like that this whole offseason has unfolded. After Odunze and Caleb Williams, their draft maybe faltered a bit. But for the most part, they were one of my biggest winners of the night. I also really liked what the Detroit Lions did. I thought they had a really good draft. I I really liked what the Dolphins did. I thought they had a really good draft. The Chiefs I don't know why, why people just let the Chiefs walk all over them. They're just making trades up from rivals in the AFC, stealing picks from them. Buffalo needed a quarterback and a receiver, and they traded, and then you just gave Tyreek Hill 2.0 to the Chiefs. Thank you, Buffalo. And you still don't have a receiver. Oh, wait. You can get a receiver now. No, we're going to trade back again to the second round and lose out on another receiver, Leggett, who I'm not high on, by the way. Only 1 year of sample size. Kind of reminds me of, I'm not high on. But Eddie Mitchell to the Bills, this is what it is. I also liked what the Arizona Cardinals did. Now, they had the most draft picks in the draft. They literally traded. They had one of the worst rosters in the NFL, so it makes sense, right? Obviously, the Marvin Harrison Jr. pick is fantastic. And by the way, in Dynasty rookie drafts, of all the people drafted this year, all of them, every single one, and if you have the number one overall pick in your Dynasty rookie drafts this year, and you're drafted right now, I did mine. I'm still in mine. I started earlier, and Marvin Harrison went number one, and there's no reason why he shouldn't. This guy has a chance to be the next Larry Fitzgerald in Arizona or Jefferson for Minnesota, and quickly, because there's no one else on that team that's going to really take away targets from this guy. He's immediately steps in as the number one receiver in the NFL. I love it. I love where it went. And Arizona, they added 7 new starters to their team. And if 5 of them work out or 4 of them work out, and all in the first 3 rounds of the draft too, they're rebuilding and doing a good job. So I really like what the Arizona Cardinals did as well in the draft. Some other teams that, just real quickly, I love what both Pennsylvania teams did. I think that Pittsburgh had a really, really good draft. I'm going to talk to Thomas Stevens about that when he comes on here in a couple of minutes. I really do think that the Steelers absolutely had a great draft. And the Eagles. The Eagles had a really, really good draft as well. Their value, if you go to sharpfootballanalysis.com, Warren Sharp has a great article up there, which he does all the values of projections on if they overpicked or underpicked. And I'll tell you what, the Eagles look really good. And they got, I think, the best cornerback in the draft, and Quinyon Mitchell, who I loved. And why not? Let's just get Cooper DeJean too while I'm at it, who I thought would have been a good pick for the Packers, but more on that when I talk to my good friend Elliott Cams later. So there you go. And okay, I'm not going to be racial here, but can we stop with this white guys can't play quarterback? Oh, he's obviously going to be converted to safety. Does he have to? David Burns is on. Is he watching from Cedar Hill, Texas? Shout out Texas. We are the Houston Texans that show a record here. That's funny. But yeah, Cooper DeJean can play cornerback. He played cornerback at Iowa, and the only reason Iowa was so good is because of what they did with him in the defensive backfield. Their offense was shit. It was terrible. I was just laughing because I went on a streak of 8 games in a row just betting the under when it was getting to a point where the under in college football in an Iowa game was 20 points. That's stupid. And it hit 3 weeks in a row. It got to 18 and a half. He was so right. He picked Cooper DeJean to the Eagles. Yeah, they got DeJean and Mitchell. The Eagles won the draft. A+. A+ for the Eagles. A+ for the Steelers. Again, more on that when Thomas Stevens comes on as well. But before we get to that, and I'm running a little late here, so I'll be quick on this because I really wanted to talk to Heavy T about this because he sent me 4 words total over the weekend as I was texting him about the draft. 4 words. After Penix was taken, I got 2 words from Heavy T, and it said this. And the tweet said, "I'm unwell." And of course, I sent him a paragraph of why I was stupid and this and that and all this stuff like that. And then I didn't hear from the rest of the night. So the next day, after the Atlanta Falcons had a couple more picks, I texted him again and said, "Heavy T, this is a wellness check. Are you okay?" And the only thing he sent me back was, "I'm unwell." 99.9% of the people out there think that the Michael Penix pick for the Atlanta Falcons was terrible. I agree. But the problem with this is that not only was that pick terrible, right? You get multiple picks in a draft. The Atlanta Falcons, all their picks were terrible. Of all their picks, 8 of them, only 1 of them exceeded value. 1. What are they doing? You just get Kirk Cousins in the top 10. You could have just waited and got Spencer Rattler in the 3rd round. Got the best. A defensive player didn't go to pick 14. You could have had the best defensive player in the draft. I thought there was a lot of them. That's why Quinyon Mitchell is going to the Eagles. All these defensive players, but by the way, went to playoff teams. You just made the playoff teams better defensively by not picking defense in the top 13. Idiots. Michael Penix Jr. is going to be 24 years old on Friday. Happy birthday, Michael Penix Jr. He had 4 injuries in college. 4. He played for 6 years. 2 ACL tears in 2018 and 2020. And 2 right shoulder injuries that cost him the rest of the season in the years in between. The only healthy years that he finished the season in college were his last 2 at Washington. But Kirk Cousins is 36 and he just had an Achilles tear, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So in 2 years, when this guy's 26, Michael Penix Jr., coming off 2 ACL tears, and who knows what else. You're going to trust him as your quarterback? A top 10 pick in the NFL draft? Which also what scares me is that all of his receivers were taken in the NFL draft. So was he that good? Or were the receivers and the offensive scheme that good? I don't know. But too much of a risk. We got Niners fans in here. We got I knew the Chicago Bears were going to take Caleb Williams. Yeah, no shit. Chargers are a wash. Oh, get that. Hey! They get a B+ for me. The Chargers get a B+ for me. Not an A, but a B+. B+. With the Michael Penix pick, again, everyone's pointing at that, but the rest of the draft picks was clearly also not good. The Jaguars were big losers as well. I don't know what they're doing. Their whole offseason has been weird. You get Gabriel, right? Cool. You get Gabriel. And then you get Brian Thomas Jr., who's literally Gabriel. You just wasted your 1st round pick on somebody that you just gave a ton of money to. Cool. So I don't know what the Jacksonville Jaguars are doing. So they were a big loser. And I had to say this, and I'm sorry. And then the Patriots, too. The Patriots are I don't know what the hell is going on with the Patriots right now. They had 2 picks over value. The rest of them were undervalue. And they're picking people like, remember a couple years ago when the Raiders picked somebody and even Mel Kiper was like, I don't even have notes on that guy. Well, the New England Patriots pulled that off this year as well. So there you go. But the Raiders, obviously with the Bo Nix pick right before them to their rival Denver Broncos, 6 quarterbacks taken in the top 20, by the way. That's a new NFL record. I'm only high on 2 of them. So here we go. So obviously, Michael Penix, Atlanta took that off the table, which everyone had Penix going to the Raiders. And then, which would have been great for Penix because he could start right away. And then Bo Nix, the Broncos. So the Raiders like, panic. Like, you know that fire meme with like the dog sitting in the fire around him? Like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Well, guess what? They decided we're just going to take the best player on the board at Brock Bowers, which they did. Brock Bowers is a great tight end. He's the only one to win the John Mackey Award twice in the history of college football. You thought Laporta was good. This guy's better. He could be Travis Kelce. Unfortunately, your quarterback situation in Las Vegas is not good. And you got Devontae Adams wanting the ball. You got Jacoby Myers wanting the ball. And your running back situation is still kind of up in the air. You could have had a good defensive player. Again, you could have picked any of the defensive players. But you went Brock Bowers. After last year, you drafted Mayer to be your number one tight end. And you signed Bryant to a contract in the offseason as well. You have 4 tight ends on your roster. 4. 2 of them you're going to have to pay because they're first and second round picks. Raiders. And I love you. Oh, by the way, the next Inept franchise series is going to be on the Raiders by Heavy T. So that'll be a lot of fun too. And I'm just going to do a whole show on it. One time I did a whole show where I just did nothing but Raiders jokes for an hour. Got to bring that back. I will bring it back. Speaking of bringing back, who wants some rants on the street? That's right. Thomas Stevens is returning from his long hiatus of birthday parties, Disneyland trips, and crying as the Lakers lose. The Monday Night Rants correspondent himself, Thomas Stevens, and Rant on the Street. But first, this. How to get your reaction to that? Because I saw
that's
it
insane. Oh my gosh,
dude! Do the Nashville Predators know how to party, or do they know how?
No,
to
yeah,
party?
I gotta go to a Nashville Predators game, dude.
Did she just drink a full Budweiser out of a catfish? Out of a live cat? Obviously, it wasn't live. I hope not. But out of a catfish? Was that thing even gutted? I want to see that again.
Dude, it was blood. It was bloody.
Let's watch that again.
Dude, I think that thing's alive.
You know how many people in the Midwest want to marry that girl right now? I will marry that girl immediately right now. Not me personally. I'm happily married. I'm saying people in Nashville, in Tennessee are seeing that going, oh, will you marry me right now?
She's my wife. Yeah.
Well, it's like after a wedding, it's like, all right, everybody, we now pronounce you man and wife, and everyone just takes their catfish full of beer and starts drinking it in the crowd.
That's the cheers in Nashville. A live catfish.
They click catfishes and drink their beer out of it.
Dude, did you see the tail moving?
Yeah, dude, it was.
I'm like, that thing is live.
That's insane. Only in Nashville. Well, shout out to Tennessee for no state taxes. Mm-hmm. What can you do? All right, my friend. It's been a while. How have you been?
It has been a while. I've been good.
What do you got tonight? If you had any angle on it, I know it's your team, and you don't bet on your teams, but what's your angle here?
To be honest with you, I'm gonna do the same thing that I've done all series long. It did lose me money, the last game, but I will be hammering Denver around halftime.
The live betting at halftime in playoffs is where it's at. Yeah. I've been telling everyone that, and Elliott, who's coming on too, I told him the same thing. I said.
It is the most profitable bet right now.
Yep.
It's actually
live betting in halftime is hitting like
even
crazy.
Dallas that lost yesterday. You could have got them up to plus 750 at their full extension. Like it's wild, absolutely wild.
But I had to give the people, the fellow ranters, a bet, so I did, and my bet was over 217.
I like that. I like it'll be high scoring from both teams. Jamal Murray is going to play, so it'll be fine.
Even better. Perfect. Love that. Are you a little nervous? You think it's they're gonna be
Dude,
gone?
listen. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, game 2 killed me, right? Like, that was the zero expectations after that. So winning yesterday, or not yesterday, sorry, 2 days ago, was cool. I would have rather taken the sweep and won some money because we will not win tonight in Denver. But it is interesting. It's cool. I'd like to see him come back for another game to LA.
I
Maybe.
just hate that it's -6.5. If it was like Denver -4 or
Yeah.
-3, I'll probably take it.
If you can
6.5.
alternate, I'd alternate, but I don't know if you can alternate.
Well, okay. The last 10 head-to-head, like I said earlier on the show, is 9-1.
Mm-hmm.
So Denver has won 9 of the last 10 games, with the last one being the one they lost.
Yeah.
And against the spread, they're 3-7 against the Lakers in those 10 games. That is a crazy trend in stat. That's like don't touch. Like, don't touch me. I want nothing to do with it. I smell like poop. Don't get near me.
Mm-hmm.
So I ain't doing it. Well, good luck to you tonight. Before we get into the 5 questions here real quick, I want to talk to you about your Steelers.
Yeah, let's do it.
And the draft.
I will say the first question, if you just want to get into it, it's who won the draft.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
I just talked about that.
Like, I know that's why I'm not the second question too. That's why I was like, it's about the Falcons. So we'll kind of
I'm saving as much Falcon talk. I did my thing. But I'm saving it for next week. And then Matt Sells, who's on the show, texted me and said, "Hey, I'm actually one of the 0.001 who think the Penix pick was a good one."
Good move.
And I'm going, what?
Interesting. I like
what? He has sound reason, but I want Heavy T to hear it. So he's going to come on next week and give Heavy T. He's going to talk Heavy T off that Atlanta Falcons ledge he's about to jump off to. Full dive. After all I got from him in 2 separate texts all weekend was, "I'm unwell." And 2 days later, "I'm unwell." At least the second one, he put a period at the end, so I knew, okay, he's
a little more emotion.
He has a little bit of more emotion in this one. He's completed his incomplete sentence, so I get it. All right, who won the draft?
Yeah,
well,
who won the draft?
I already said who I thought won the draft, but and the Steelers were one of them, so I kind of want to talk to you about that because you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Let me. Jesus, all my notes just went. There we go. All right, I give them an A. I thought they did a really good job of drafting for value, getting the positions that they needed. Now, I did not think that the Chargers were going to draft Ladd McConkey, which, by the way, I am buying a Ladd McConkey jersey.
Yeah,
give me some of that Ladd. Love it. But I thought the Chargers would draft Roman Wilson in the 2nd round. Pittsburgh got Roman Wilson in the 3rd round. And I like Roman Wilson. I think he reminds me of Deontay Johnson, but less of a how do I say this lately? A bitch.
Yeah, straight up. I was gonna say a diva, but I love that word even more.
He's also a red zone machine, which is also anti Deontay Johnson. So there you go. So I love that pick. I love the Troy Fontanu pick, the OT from Washington. I thought he made that team again, protecting Michael Penix Jr. Dude, so many Washington players were drafted in this.
Insane. Yeah.
Offensive line from receivers. I worry about Penix, man. I really do. Love Zach Frazier as well. Peyton Wilson's a great pick. Mason McCormick, I loved. And then anytime you get a defensive player from Iowa late, you're getting a good fed guy ready to
white guy.
Trenches. I think most part. And by the way, remember last year we gave your Steelers an A as well. So here you go again. I'm giving them an A this year. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I think that they were one of the teams that won the draft. I think that getting Troy, it's hard for me to pronounce. I will get the last name right at the end. It was
Fontanu.
Troy Fontanu.
Get used to it. He's going to be a good player.
100%. Yeah. I think that, because of the quarterback selection and everything that went on so early and how weird it was, I think Tomlin said it, the best. We didn't think he was going to be available. Turn the film on this guy. He's an absolute beast. It's what we've needed for a long time, man. And then I think the 2nd round, we've needed a center since Pouncey's left.
Yes, sir. Zach Frazier from West Virginia is a great center. Underrated, small arms, they say, but why does every offensive lineman have small arms nowadays? Are they all a bunch of T-Rexes going out there blocking? Come on, they do this their entire life. They know what they're doing. Who cares about small arms?
Yeah, no, but I think one of the biggest things, man, that I liked about the Steelers picks, and I heard our GM talking about it, is a lot of the players we got are play now players. They've been 3-year starters. Not just I was big on Jackson Powers Johnson. Don't get me wrong, but it was kind of a 1-year, I'm not going to say a fluke. He's a great player, but it was 1 year. I'll take the center that has played for 3 years. So I like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think all the picks were good. The defensive player out of Texas, it was late. It was in the 6th round.
Ryan Watts.
Yeah, Ryan Watts. I can't be mad at a 6th round pick. That's fine. So I think they did good, man. I think they attacked everything.
Yeah, I agree. A+.
I will say though, if just to touch on this question really quick, man, the Chargers are in my top 3 teams that won this draft.
Really? I give them a B.
100%. I give them an A-. I'll be honest with you, I give them an A-.
Okay, why? Well, it's my own team, so I'm harder on my own team.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that the first pick was amazing. A lot of people hated on it. I loved it.
Dude, absolutely. I was all in. And I was on Charger Twitter, which, by the way, is the worst Twitter ever because there's only 10 of us. And 9 of them hate everything that the Chargers do. So it's just me defending. It's like, hey, we don't need this. Like, we don't need Odunze or Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
You have Alt and Slater.
Have
on your offensive line.
Possibly could be, 2 top 3 tackles in the league. Seriously,
dude.
If Alt's a beast.
And then give me some Lad McConkey. I love Lad McConkey. I love that Jordy Nelson type on the team. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me. I just think,
for me personally, man, just like I said about my Steelers, I think the Chargers came here and played no games. They attacked exactly what they needed, and I love Brendan Rice.
Brendan, dude, Jerry Rice's son, by the way. Brendan Rice is a Charger. That's funny.
Absolutely fire.
But yeah, I like that too. So, and only 2 Michigan players, which surprised me. But
yeah. And then the Eagles. The Eagles are my 3rd team.
They crushed.
With you.
Eagles
to get
crushed,
Cooper
man.
and Mitchell that late was absolutely fire.
Stupid. Both starters immediately in the NFL. Like, exactly. So just stupid.
Yeah.
Maybe Baker Mayfield won't line him up at the playoffs next year now.
You got the white boy safety. I love it.
He's a quarterback. I hope to God he plays quarterback.
Corner? That'd be awesome. Break the barriers.
White people can't play quarterback.
Jackie Robinson.
Jesus. Yeah, break the barriers of the CB. The first ever white quarterback in the history. I'm sure there are more, but they didn't play,
They didn't get through training camp.
Yeah. I heard someone talk about today. It's like, it's a speed thing. You don't see white people running in the 100-yard dash in the Olympics. And I'm going, come on, dude. That's your response. That's part because half of them are Jamaican and there's no white Jamaicans. How about that? All right. Anyways, moving on. What's number 2?
Number 2, man. We'll be really quick on this because I think we both know our opinion. The Falcons. What were they doing? If you even want to skip over this one, we can.
Yeah, I think everyone heard it. If you haven't heard it, watch the replay on MetaRants.com and listen to me talk about Michael Penix Jr. Both ACL tears and both separated shoulders that cost him 4 years of college.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And stay tuned next week when we have an expert come on and tell Heavy T why he shouldn't jump off a cliff. Moving on, number 3.
Number 3.
The Atlanta Falcons were ranked last out of last, and not just from Penix, from all their picks. They were all overvalued. It was stupid. That was one of the worst drafts I've ever seen ever. Okay, moving on.
Number 3, we're kind of stepping over each other. I'll be honest, because number 3 it was our opinion on Joe Alt. So
oh god. Yeah. Love it, man. You got the best offensive lineman in college football.
Yeah. I love it too.
A+. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Harbaugh. And today, but by the way, interesting, which I'm going to be a little bit of peppering in on my fantasy football teams next year, is J.K. Dobbins is fully healthy. But we see this every year. So that first game, week 1, J.K. Dobbins is going to put up 172 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And then game 2, he's going down with an injury. We know how that works, right?
I told my friend that the other day. He's a Chargers fan. I was like, those first maybe 2 weeks are going to be insane.
In DFS, you're playing J.K. Dobbins the first 2 weeks until he gets hurt. You're doing it.
Yeah.
I like how we have the starting backfield from the Baltimore Ravens last year.
I know. They just gave it to you.
Although that running back that they got late,
right? Yeah.
Kind of a speedster, kind of an Eckler type.
Kind of. I like that pick too.
Late in Dynasty, like the 3rd or 4th round of my rookie draft this year. I'll probably be looking at him and trying to pick him up. But I like myself some McConkey.
So do I.
Go the powder, McConkey.
He's gonna be a possession threat, dude. With Herbert,
he's gonna be a beast
over the middle.
He's gonna be an absolute beast. He's gonna be Hunter Renfrow on steroids.
Yep. That's what I told my friend earlier.
But way better. Like that was actually not even a good comp because he's way better than Hunter Renfrow. But
maybe that first year Hunter Renfrow.
No, you know what? Jordy Nelson is a good
there you go.
example
I like that.
because
I like that.
early in Jordy Nelson's career, he was actually more of a possession type receiver. And then something happened with him and Aaron Rodgers where he clicked and he started going deep more. And then he was just always open until he had that bad injury in the preseason. But
I like that comparison.
I like that too. I mean, we could compare him to an actual African American too, but
let's just
yeah. Cooper DeJean, you better play CB, baby. All right, what's number 4?
Number 4, this one. Listen, man, I love this conversation, but this is a broken record on this show. I will say. What is going on with the Atlanta Hawks this offseason? Are they finally going to blow it up? Are we going to see the same roster, the same coach, the same
Atlanta Hawks? I feel like we've had this question in the last 3 years.
No, I'm serious. This is a broken record.
You talked more about the Atlanta Hawks on this show than people have in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. They're just a weird roster. Like,
it's so weird. They're not bad. Like they're
on paper, they're not bad.
That's what I'm saying. Like on paper, they're not bad, but they're so bad.
Yeah, I just think they have no defense and too many scorers, and they just go on runs where like Trey Young will have like 3 off games and then 4 good games, and then DeJounte Murray just will go 2 weeks without scoring double-digit points but have 14 assists. It's just like too inconsistent for them. We'll see where they end up in the draft, I guess. And by the way, remember last year's NBA draft? We had a lot of fun. How terrible it was. Wait till you see this year's. It's just as bad. And there's no Wemby either. So maybe it's worse.
No, it's worse. Yeah. No, you don't have a Wemby. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really bad. So the draft's not the answer. This could be another rough year for. Who is the Atlanta Hawks fan that watches this show that keeps on asking that question?
It is one of my friends.
Okay, all right. I was like, man, this guy just wants to know about the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah.
Nobody else does. We do have a quick question in the chat. What's more shocking here? The Washington football team drafting Kirk Cousins in the 4th round after taking RG3 at number 2, which was interesting. And it worked out for them, actually, with the injury. Or Penix being drafted after the Falcons gave Cousins a 4-year, $180 million contract.
Good question.
I'm going to say the Penix, and here's why. Because you take your starting quarterback, number 2 overall in RG3, who you think is the future, take injuries aside, that rookie year looked fantastic. You draft Cousins in the 4th round, you don't have any other quarterbacks on that team. Makes sense. When you give a guy $180 million for 4 years, and then waste the top 10 pick on a backup, that's more shocking to me. That's way more shocking to me than drafting a quarterback in the 4th round after. Because, dude, let's be real. That Thursday night, everyone's hyped. Everyone's watching the draft. Everyone cares, right? Second night, everyone's all right. You know, there could be some sleepers here. By the time you get in the 4th round, no one cares. Like, it's just, okay, maybe you get a good pick here where it works out or whatever it is. Elliott's when he bets here backstage is saying his bets. He's been on a tear. He calls me his jinx. He calls me his jinx, and I'll explain to everyone what that means. But for the most part, I think this one is more shocking because no one saw it coming. You know, if you pick Kirk Cousins in the 4th round, okay, cool, it's the 4th round, but no one saw them picking Penix nobody, right? So yeah, this one's more shocking. Anyways, go on to the last and final question. By the way, man, Atlanta Hawks fan, I'm really sorry. But,
I'd prefer if we could, I'll tell them maybe, talk about the Falcons.
Heavy T would love that.
Talk about the Braves, maybe.
The Braves are doing well. Let's talk about that.
There you go. Number 5, I like this one because me and you hit this on the dot, man, at the beginning of the year. I think I know your response, but love the team, love what we did. Can the Oklahoma City Thunder genuinely compete for a championship this year?
What's the score right now?
I will check. Hold on.
I know. So much for getting this on a post afterwards. We're talking about the live score, but yeah, it is what it is. What is the score? It is 44-43 at halftime. So yeah. So no, man, I don't think so. I'm actually higher on Dallas now. I think the winner of the Dallas Clippers matchup will beat the Pelicans. Oh, I'm sorry, the Thunder.
I agree.
In the matchup. And by the way, the Clippers have the easiest road here to the Western Conference Finals. If they do not find a way around Doncic and his,
huge win last night.
Yeah, but they should have won game 2. They had it and they blew it. So, but then you could say, well, Dallas blew it last night. That's basketball. Yeah, that's why I only watched the fourth quarter and bet on it at halftime, baby. Let's go.
Damn right.
Damn right. That's how we win here on Monday Night Rants.
Yes, sir.
We only bet at halftime.
Let them get emotional.
That's
Let them
right.
get emotional.
Let me see how far this team is down by and what I could win.
Yeah.
Because that's what playoff basketball is. Everybody knows the team down always comes back in the second half of the playoffs. It is like, what? I think it's hitting like an 80% clip right now. It is insane.
It's insane. The Denver Nuggets are my first loss on that comeback. The Bucks. I did have
the
one
Bucks.
more.
Yeah. The Bucks.
The Bucks.
The Bucks are bye Bucks. They're gonna be gone. They're gonna be hanging out with KD and Bradley Beal fishing.
Suns, dude, I love it. I love that.
What do you know? A Doc Rivers team out in the first round of the playoffs as a favorite. Who would have thought that was going to happen? Huh? Nobody or everybody. I guess
I need to see their win-loss records since he took over as coach. I don't think they're 500.
Well, they ended up being number 2 seed, right? No, they
fell, and
the Knicks were number 2. I think they were number 3.
A little bit over 500, but I know it's bad. I mean, it's not good. Like they
terrible playoff.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Doc Rivers.
What were we talking about? I lost.
OKC.
Oh yeah.
I agree with you, man.
I
think we hit him on the top.
I think it'd be surprising if they get to the Western Conference Finals. Is their floor? And if they get to the Western Conference Finals and have to play Denver, there's no chance in hell. Like
they're not going to.
They're not built for that yet.
They're not beating the Mavericks or Clippers, and it's 100%.
It's a great story, and it's a great. Yeah. And by the way, if you watch Monday Night Rants, it's our story because we called it. And hey, by the way, we also called the Pacers, my friend. Let's go. That deserves an air horn. Right.
Those were 2 nails, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Both gonna go to the second round.
Nailed it.
Do
we have anything else? We good?
Nah, that's it, man.
That's it. That's all we got.
Yes, sir.
Bring some more.
Pantoja. Wait, real quick. Pantoja or what forget or Urseg.
I'm taking Pantoja.
Okay, I love it. I wanted to get a little something on it.
Pantoja by knockout.
Nice.
Is my pick actually, but I do want to talk to you about this next week. The Tyson fight with Paul.
Frick.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about this next week.
For sure.
We're gonna talk about this next week.
That's gonna be really. Have the betting odds came out for that?
Yeah.
Oh,
slight favorite to Paul here.
Okay.
But then, yeah. So Tyson came out today and said, "I haven't had sex or smoked weed in like 6 months. I'm ready to go." And I'll tell you what.
Oh fuck!
If that happened to me, I would fight anybody who was walking their dog down the street right now. Like, I'll be ready to go, baby.
Testosterone's just through the roof.
Yeah. Whoa. It's all play, though.
Oh,
damn well that dude is smoking weed and having sex with his wife right now. It's all talk. We'll talk about it next week.
For sure, man.
I think we should do like a special live watch show.
No, I'm down, dude. That would be
just get everyone on to watch it with us and just have some beers and like watch the fight. And
dude, we'd probably get solid traction with that too. Honestly,
I think we
people
should.
will be looking for the fights like on.
Yeah. Just watch it with us. We'll just talk about it. We're watching this ridiculous thing, and it's free on Netflix. Well, you have to have Netflix, obviously, but it's free.
Yeah. It's on Netflix.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Dude.
Yeah,
wow.
Great.
Cool for Jake Paul to do that, man. Honestly, that's pretty cool.
Oh, by the way, shout out to Logan Paul, who I think is an underrated WWE star. All right, my friend. Tell everyone where to find you, where to ask the questions, obviously, by rants.com, but also at, I just rant my instead of tires. This is why Heavy T needs to be on the show. Because when I produce myself, I don't know what I'm doing. At Better Thomas.
Yes, sir. All social media platforms. Send any questions, any sport, just not like, cricket, something like that.
I want everyone to give a cricket questions tomorrow.
5 cricket.
I want to talk about Sri Lanka and their 2-day cricket match they had against India.
But yeah, no, better.
What are the betting odds on that? Let's go.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll be ready. I'm gonna look up some odds for the Jake Paul Tyson. I'll get some research on that.
Yeah, we'll have some fun with that next week as well.
Yeah, for sure, man.
All right, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Hey, let's try to make it 3-2.
Enjoy the game, my friend. Enjoy the game.
Let me know when you hammer.
Oh,
yeah.
We'll be texting it at halftime.
Right. Yeah. All right, later, man.
All right, man. Better Thomas. At Better Thomas, all your favorite social media platforms. We're going to take a quick little break here. And when we're back from this break, the man, the myth, the legend, a man who I have a bone to pick with, calling me a jinx. Well, we had patio beers. And while I was on that patio, a certain somebody was winning. So maybe I am not the jinx. Until then, well, how about a little bear slander? Will Caleb Williams be the one? Will he fix the curse of Chicago Bears quarterbacks? Heavy T doesn't think so. Here's why.
The Bears have to be one of the most inept franchises of any sport I've ever seen in my entire life. And they share the city with the White Sox, who are also inept. Like, that is how bad the Bears are. I just don't understand how you can go your entire existence and the quarterback that wins you a Super Bowl is Jim McMahon. You couldn't find anybody else.
They don't have a good history with quarterbacks, but they let him be the quarterback for a long time, too.
Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes right there. Mm-hmm. And you drafted Mitch Trubisky. They were right there. I there's a lot of pain in being a Falcons fan. The Bears are one of the teams I could argue they might have it worse, and they have a Super Bowl. And when the best quarterback in the past 50 years is Jay Cutler, you have a problem.
That's so funny that you just said that. We were talking about Jay Cutler the other day, me and my friend, and I was like, yeah, he was on, because we were watching the Colorado Rockies game against the Giants, and it looked like he was behind the thing. I was, yeah, well, he played for Denver most of his career. We looked it up. Chicago let him be their starting quarterback way too long.
Here's the thing, too, is that Jay Cutler wasn't bad. Like, he was erratic. He wasn't terrible, though.
The poor man's Brett Favre.
I'm taking him over Justin Fields. I'm sorry.
I would.
But yeah. Jay Cutler led that team to an NFC title game.
Yeah.
That they lost to Green Bay. But he's gotten farther than anybody else. You want to know who the other starting quarterback was for the Bears in the other Super Bowl appearance they made? It was Rex Grossman. What are we doing out here? It was Rex Grossman and Kyle Orton was the backup. How are you that bad? Bro, like, oh my God. Listen to the top 5. According to Football Reference, the top 5 greatest Bears quarterbacks of all time. Jay Cutler, number 1.
I can't believe it.
Sid Luckman, who last played in 1950, is number 2. Jim Harbaugh is number 3. Jim McMahon, the Super Bowl winner, is number 4, and he played there for 6 years. And Mitch Trubisky, is number 5 on the list as terms of passing yards go.
Will the curse be fixed? I think so. I really do. I don't even like USC. But only time will tell. All right. Without further ado, the man who called me a jinx. Elliott Cams, a.k.a. Elliott Cams. So many nicknames. Not as cool as Maximus Viper.
Nothing's ever as cool as that, Max.
What's going on, my friend? Welcome to Monday Night Rants.
Hey, thanks for having me back on, man. Good to be back.
Of course, man. Always fun with you. Obviously, we have fun on The Drew Show, which you are a part of. You are the co-host there on New Rock 104. You know what everyone says. Well, I don't live in the Central Valley and I don't live in California. You got the podcast. You got the podcast. Commercial free.
The best way to listen, some would say. I think live, always the better way to do it. But
110%.
But, you know,
that's the way to do it.
Some people just got to find their way to listen to me, and I don't blame them. Being the best morning show in Fresno, you know?
Hey, I second that. The best morning show in Fresno. And I'm on Fridays. Fast Eddie Fridays, if you will.
Where, some would say it's the best day of the week. Some. I'm not saying who, but there's been some talks in the office.
Okay. I love it. I like it. You called me a jinx.
I did.
Obviously, we give our bets. By the way, do you have anything on this Lakers Denver game tonight?
Not yet. I'm flirting with.
You're waiting until halftime, aren't you? Like the
Well, I'm
true.
definitely doing that, but I'm flirting. I'm flirting with OKC Pelicans, maybe going into the fourth. It's weirdly close. It's a 1-point game going into half, so I'm thinking maybe get a little frisky, see if the Pels got one last little push, and then bet Thunder.
There you go.
Right
By the way, I got Elliott into the live world of live betting at halftime in NBA during the playoffs. And if you don't, wait till halftime to see what the spreads are and bet against it. With the team that's losing, you are missing out because it has been like an 80% clip of constant winning this year.
Oh.
But Vegas is getting a little bit smarter with it now, though. They're getting smarter with it. But it's been an absolute banger of hits after hits after hits.
So it's been tough. It's been tough all this year for me. Some bad months. I won't lie. It hasn't been my best year, but I want to just read off something for you.
Okay.
Since last Tuesday, we won with Nuggets -1.5 at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
We caught Miami in the third quarter for a money line.
Whee!
Real Madrid money line. Cash that.
You know you're a degenerate when you start betting soccer on a Thursday.
Hey, when Real Madrid's playing, you take Real Madrid. That's the rule. I didn't make the rules. I just know the rules, all right? Look, we got Bruins money line. We got Pacers money line. We got the Timberwolves 3 times in a row with a money line and a sweep.
You got me on that one. I'll give you that. I had higher hopes for the Suns.
We had game 3 of the Islanders money line and over. And then we ended up with just a couple of minutes ago, Panthers Lightning, another over.
All right. So why am I a jinx?
Because I'm going to tell you why. All right.
Okay.
When do you start coming in? Say March, maybe February?
I came in January.
Okay. Oh, okay. Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
January. 9-7.
It was the first week of the NFL playoffs.
Okay. Well, here, look, January 9-7. Things are looking good. February 3-9. You're going to notice a pattern here in a second. You're going to notice one. All right. March 5-13. Ooh, I love this one too. I love this one. Without counting last week. April 4-8. I'm not saying you're a jinx, but if it walks like a jinx and if it ruins my luck like a jinx, you might be a jinx.
Okay. You know my record. Those 3 months were pretty good.
I can tell because you've been using me as a little betting meat shield.
I did with your hockey. You went on a streak there where every hockey bet you picked on lost. Even if you picked like a -400 favorite, they would lose. It was crazy. Yeah. It was a run. Everyone goes on. One can argue it's harder to lose 8 in a row than it is to win 8 in a row.
I mean, I was literally, I was your hurt locker. You were like, hey, find all these traps in the ice and see if you fall through. So I got safe passage. And I did that for you.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. But now it seems like this last Friday, your tides have turned.
Since last Tuesday, knock on wood, it's been a good little streak here. But, you know, I don't want to get too confident. It's probably been the best streak of my life.
Okay.
Like 6 total wins ever in a row. I'm like, I'm Jesus. You know, it's like
should have parlayed him, my friend. You should have parlayed him.
It's too rich for my blood.
Too rich. Okay, well, you know, next time parlay him. The fool's gold of betting.
Well, that and like I do a lot of halftime stuff. It's a lot of live betting.
That's where it's
so,
at right now.
You can't parlay that.
That's true. Yeah. Well, tonight, hopefully, it works out for you too in the halftime. I'm sure you'll be texting me. What? I mean, we could go the entire game. It's my show. I don't care. We can just live watch the Denver Lakers game and live bet on it. I mean, all the people watching would love that. No,
yeah, I'm sure NBA wouldn't have any issue with that. I'm sure it's all good.
Question: did you see that video of that beautiful young lady from Nashville pounding a beer out of a catfish?
I did see the catfish. Yeah, I did see the catfish.
Would that be something? Right when I saw that, I said, of all the people I know, and I know quite a lot of people, one of them would do that, and he ironically lives in Tennessee, which is fun. Would you do that?
Mm. So here's the thing. Would I normally do that? No. But if I was in Nashville for a playoff hockey game, I can't tell you the next time I'll ever be or if I'll ever be in Nashville. So you might have to just go balls to the wall. And if someone's holding a catfish with beer in it, you might have to go bass to mouth there. I don't know. I don't want to. Normally I wouldn't. But yeah, in the spirit, like if you've got a Predator jersey on, you're probably a couple of brewskis deep. You're feeling the energy. You might have to just do it. You might have to do it for the fans, for Nashville.
Yeah. How many guys want to marry that girl right now?
I'm sure the entire single population of all of Tennessee.
Yeah, probably. All right. Did you watch any of the NFL draft over the weekend?
I watched day 1 and just was checking briefly on day 2 and 3.
Okay. You are a Green Bay Packers fan.
I am.
I've been trying to hold my thoughts on the Packers draft here, waiting for you to come join the show. What do you think overall of your Green Bay Packers and how they did in the draft?
You know, I've been noticing a lot of people giving us the B, the classic B, which feels pretty boring, frankly, to me.
B for boring.
Yeah, exactly, which I disagree, you know? Sure, we needed a corner. And sure, we traded backwards to not get a corner. But you know what? I like the draft. I think it's a frisky A-, personally.
Okay, so going over it. Obviously, Jordan Morgan, the OT out of Arizona, I thought was a good pick. He's a very solid, probably underrated offensive lineman. I thought he may go higher. Edgar and Cooper, linebacker out of Texas A&M. Okay, but you did get your DB at 58 and Javon Bullard out of Georgia, who I love.
And you know what?
Kind of a two-way player, too, where
I
he can
didn't
play
think we
safety.
needed really anybody on offense. I'm a big fan of Marshawn Lloyd in the 4th round, personally.
You could have probably waited and got another running back later. You already have 2. He immediately slots in the 3rd.
But the way I look at it is, I look at it as like finding Aaron Jones is heir to Aaron Jones. Because you got Aaron Jones, then you got Josh Jacobs, who's Aaron Jones-esque in the sense of his north to south breakaway speed, without maybe the receiving touchdown side of it. But then that's when you got Marshawn Lloyd, who's just going to watch him and A.J. Dillon run. Matt LaFleur, you know, takes some of his faults with offensive play calling in the playoffs, but he knows how to drop good plays for running backs. I really like the pick.
Okay. I'm a little iffy on that one. I think it was kind of a wasted pick there. What I love, and absolutely love, was taking number 111th overall out of Oregon. And he's probably going to be a safety for you guys, but Evan Williams, who, by the way, played at Fresno State before he transferred to Oregon. So I've seen this guy play at Fresno State. I've seen him play at Oregon as well. This guy is a baller. And where you got him, I thought he would go sooner. Evan Williams is a great pick up there for your Green Bay Packers. And I look for him to be potential, maybe not this year, kind of peppering in. I think he's going to be a starter there in 2025.
If there's one thing I'm never upset about is the Packers drafting linemen, and it's finding places where they clearly need help. They needed help with the DBs from last season. They needed linebackers to fill out the center of the field, and they need offensive linemen for the future to protect Jordan Love for the foreseeable decade. So I really didn't have a problem with it. I would have liked maybe a defensive lineman or two. I feel like Green Bay always gets carved at either the front 4 or through the linebackers. They covered one of those things. I feel corner, you still got Jared for another year, so you could probably find another one in the upcoming years. But, you know, I think this is a really solid draft. And I think, you know, we all Packer fans love to get on Goot's case, you know, with the whole, was Rodgers right? Was Goots right? You know, I think he's proven it's hard not to see he hasn't been cooking lately.
Yeah, no. It's there. I know you kind of wanted Cooper DeJean, probly. DeJean.
You and me were talking at patio beers. I would have loved
Kool-Aid McKinstry.
But you know what? I got to be honest. As cool as Kool-Aid would have been, and as awesome as him coming out every game screaming, "Oh yeah!"
Only if he came out of a wall to do it. That would be
right. But like, Have you ever seen green Kool-Aid? I don't know.
I don't think
Would
that
you
exists.
Would you trust green Kool-Aid? I don't think you can.
Would that be sour apple? Who wants to drink sour apple Kool-Aid?
Oh, there's 3 okay flavors for Kool-Aid, and that's red, blue, and grape. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Arguably just red and grape. Blue is kind of like, I don't. No one ever knows what color blue is.
No.
Grape is purple, right? Red is cherry. We get it. What is
Blue's
blue?
Blue's either raspberry, some weird tropical thing, and they're like
Gatorade just doesn't even tell you. They're like,
No.
it's just cool blue.
Cool Blue's fine. And you know what? That's got it for
Or
some
something like
people.
Glacier Frost or Ride
Hey, don't you
Whatever.
disrespect Riptide Rush, okay?
Riptide Rush. That's what it is.
We're talking Gatorade flavors. Riptide Rush was a banger. Next to strawberry kiwi in the nipple top.
Oh, dude. But, whoa. Nipple top is where it's at. We've already
Nipple
had
top
this.
is the crown jewel.
There's a short out on Rants.com about Heavy T going off on his nipple tops. Yeah,
We gotta bring it back. We gotta
Rants.com.
free the nipple tops.
Free the nipple tops. All right, I got a little game for you. Little game. That's some fun here. Let's see your Green Bay Packer Phantom.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
If you can't tell, I'm ecstatic.
The Green Bay Packers obviously have been really lucky at quarterback over the last, I don't know how long, forever.
Don't do it, man.
I want you to name
Shit.
as many
Sorry.
Green Bay Packers quarterbacks. Oh, dude, I don't give a fuck. This is on the internet, man. You can say whatever you want. It's not New Rock 104.
It's true. It's true. All right.
Yeah. But after over 3 Fs, then they do censure you. So there was one. So the other 2, let's keep a low minimum.
Dude,
it's like a PG-13 movie, you can get away with a little bit. Titanic had boobs.
That's true. That's true. We're thankful for it. We gotta thank we gotta thank Leo for that one.
Yeah, what a great drawing. How many quarterbacks for the Green Bay Packers can you name? How many you think?
Dude.
Like if you had to give me an over/under of a number that you think you name without thinking real quick, 5, 6, 6.5.
So the problem
7.
is the thing that's really bothering me right now is that I feel like I have 6 close to 7, but I can't remember 2 of their names. But I know where they went. But I know where they went to college, or I know what team they got drafted with before, and that's what
I may give that to you.
Okay, because let's get Brett Favre out of the way. Let's get Aaron Rodgers out of the way.
Wait. I'm gonna give you 5.5.
Okay.
So you got to get 6 to win.
Okay, so let's get Jordan Love, Rodgers, Favre out of the way.
3. You see 3 more.
One guy that holds a very special place in my heart. He played maybe 3 games, but he has one of the greatest rushing touchdowns a QB can have in Packer history. Scott Tolzien. Scott Tolzien came in for Aaron Rodgers when he broke his collarbone.
You were correct. He started 2 games from 2000 in 2013, one in 2013 and one in 2014.
Played the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, you got this. I should have given you 7, dude. If you're pulling out Scott Tolzien right now, got it.
If you have time, you should look up Scott Tolzien's rushing touchdown.
I remember it. It was
sick.
incredible. Yeah, it was an incredible game.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
We got Matt Flynn for sure.
Okay, yeah, you got this. It's over.
And see, here's where it gets tricky, right? Because one of the quarterbacks was a first-round pick and a huge bust for the Browns, and then he got traded to Green Bay. And then when Aaron Rodgers had like that Chicago Bears my knee game, where he basically got horse tranked in, he came in, threw a pick 6 to Khalil Mack.
And what college did he go to?
Oh, dude, that's gonna. He went to I feel like a Big Ten school too.
Did he go to UCLA?
No, there was a guy from UCLA though,
Okay.
and he got traded to the Arizona Cardinals.
Yes.
But see, those are my 2
People
guys.
right now are yelling at this show because there's one quarterback who's a legend who literally won the
Bart
first
Starr.
ever.
Yeah, like an idiot. I was trying to keep it in my lifetime.
I know, but it could be any quarterback. All right, you're on the cusp here. You got to name one more. And by the way, the Green Bay Packers are tied for the least amount of starting quarterbacks in franchise history.
I don't think this is right. I'm gonna throw it out there because wasn't Hasselbeck a Packer?
He was not a starter. He never started again.
Never started. Okay.
But you're right. He was a Packer for a me little time. But he
Well,
did
he
not
had that.
actually make the team after that.
He had that great. We're gonna get the ball and we're gonna score. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
threw
So
a
yeah,
pick
he was a
six to Alvin
Packer.
Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah. He scored for the
He was,
Packers.
yeah.
That should count. That should
He
count.
had money on that game, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Come on, one more. So many you could choose from. So many.
This is what's driving me crazy. It's because they're there in my mind.
There, wow, some of these are crazy. I forgot about him. Wow. All right.
And I'm not trying to look. I'm trying to do Scouts honor here.
Yeah, no, Scouts honor. Just one more. Hey, you
Oh.
pulled the Matt Flynn out. You pulled Scott Tolzien out of your ass. Come on.
Because Scott Tolzien had the moment. He had the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Wasn't like it was something the Cleveland guy was like a Kircher or Kinsey or oh my God, I see it, but it's blurred, you know?
The Cleveland guy, I don't know who that is. I
He's
do.
blurred.
I'm going to give you one because here's where I thought you were going with the Cleveland one because this player did actually play for Cleveland too in his career. Brett Hundley out of UCLA.
Brett Hundley was the guy that got traded to Arizona.
Yes,
And
he
that's-
started 9 games for the Packers.
Right, but then
By the way, what's crazy is Brett Favre 253 games, Aaron Rodgers 223, Bart Starr 157, and then 3 straight quarterbacks after are 101, 73, 49, 37, but they're all in the 50s and the 80s.
Right.
And then you have just random people thrown in there. Brett Hundley's a good one. Mike Tomczak.
No.
So 91.
No.
Anyone recent besides Scott Tolzien?
Scott
You got Seneca Wallace, who started a 1 game.
What was his name? He came in for Rodgers when he got hurt by the Bears.
But he didn't start. He just came in.
Rodgers got hurt, came in to cover for him, threw a pick to Khalil Mack. Rodgers came back.
No. So I only have who's ever started a game, so I don't think he's on this.
Okay. All right.
By the way, it's not a very long list. Who you missed was Lynn Dickey, who's a Hall of Famer. Tobin wrote Don Mikowski. That's a big one. And then Zeke Brakowski. Those are all Hall of Famers. But Lynn Dickey, I thought you would at least get that one. He was a huge 1976 to 85. He's 4th on the all-time start list for the Green Bay Packers. But, that was before your time. I was born in 85.
See, I can't say, look, I'm a Packer fan. I can't say I'm necessarily a Packer historian. I know it's got one of the best histories in football, which makes me, fair enough, like a poser, if you want to call me like a poser fan.
You're not a poser, man.
But,
you've been a Packer fan your entire life. I get it.
Tell you what, not too many people had Scott Tolzien in their lineup, all right?
No, yeah, Scott Tolzien, to me, I had to scroll down and go, what the hell? That's pretty awesome that
Who's
you did that.
Browns quarterback, though? It wasn't Hundley. Do you have him up there?
I don't know. Let's see. Quarterbacks to play for Browns and Packers recently. Oh, Deshaun Kaiser.
Deshaun Kaiser.
That's a throwback.
Oh,
and by the way, if you just type in quarterback to play for Browns and Packers, he's the only one.
Literally
the only one.
And he had like a sack.
I remember Deshaun
Kaiser.
Kaiser.
The sack up with an interception to Khalil Mack, and it was like, oh my God. Rodgers,
you know what's really crazy about Deshaun Kaiser is he's only 28 years old. Still now today.
Is he in like the Canadian Football League? I feel like I heard he got moved to Canada or something.
He plays for nobody.
That's sad.
Yeah, he's completely out. He hasn't played since 2021, where he was on the Titans practice squad.
Ooh,
he did play for the Raiders too. Yeah,
that's fitting. The Packers have like this weird connection with the Raiders, where like Packer players past their prime will just kind of go to the Raiders. I guess maybe they're keeping the tradition going.
Yeah, they are. That seems to be a good place for them to go. So I think actually, if you count them all, I think you did get over 5.5, 6.
I'm going to say I did. I'm not going to count.
I think you did. So yeah, you did get 6. I was pressing you for the 7. So you won. Congratulations. Here you go, air horn. Because if you lost, I would have given you this one.
You are one pathetic loser.
You don't want that one.
That's fair. That's fair. But I didn't because I'm great and I'm on a hot streak right now. Can't lose right now.
All right. Let's I'm going off a limb here. Let's look at tomorrow's NBA
Yeah, let's
matches
dig in.
here. Let's dig in.
Can we quickly talk about how it feels like no sports show today was talking about the Suns getting swept?
Did you not see mine?
Hmm?
Did you not see mine?
Hmm?
I had a whole thing about the Suns being swept.
Oh, well, you told me to come on at a different time, and then you didn't
Well,
even-
you should have been watching the beginning of the show before you came on and know what I was talking about, so you talk about it.
The
I
show started.
I photoshopped a picture of Bradley Beal with a fishing cap holding a fishing pole and said, "Got fishing."
You know what? I did see the picture. I did see the picture of Ant in the back looking like an absolute dog because he is.
Yeah. I did it. I said they gone fishing, and I even said that I was higher on them than I should have been, and they're in trouble because they got these 3 great players, and none of them can score 20 points in a playoff game played 40 minutes. I said it.
No, but,
I ranted about it, and I'm ranting about it again.
but I mean, like, you had, I get it, with like the Lakers winning one game for the first time in 3 years against the Nuggets. Like,
I'm
cool.
going to show you right here. Gone fishing. Bradley Beal with a fishing pole and hat on. And then I showed this picture. I've never been swept a day of my life. And the Minnesota Timberwolves saying, first time for everything. And I'm saying, well, this dude hasn't even been on a playoff team till now in his entire life.
You know what? I will give Bradley Beal a little
Sorry
bit of
for
credit
yelling,
because
But it's-
after he lost, he was like, "I'll be damned if I get swept," and then he got swept. And he's like, "Well, I was damned."
yeah, who did? But then
And I mean,
what's funny about that is really this is only like his second time ever in the playoffs.
that's crazy too.
Because
mean,
he's been
that's
on the
what
Washington
happens.
Wizards, who've been absolute terrible team forever.
I don't know if you've covered them yet, but that's another great team you could cover for horrible franchises.
Oh, yeah. See, I want to do that one because I really feel that the Washington Wizards, like the trades they make and the way that they like grab players from other teams, they're literally like a AAA team that you just like, I don't want this guy anymore. Kuzma.
Yeah.
Like it's really what it
nice-
is. Like they're that bad. And their uniforms suck. And
You know what?
they're-
It's
they
a
haven't been
nice
good since
place to
Gilbert
retire.
Arenas.
It's a nice place to retire.
It's a nice place to go. Who
You're on
doesn't
the
want to go to Washington, D.C. to retire, dude? That's
You're
where I
on-
want to go when I
you're on the
retire.
East
You know what I'm
Coast.
saying?
You know, you're in the capital. I guess it's cool.
Yeah.
You can watch a lot of awesome Commander games. You know, the Capitals are viable. I
God.
guess they make the playoffs. Yeah.
They won. They won the Stanley Cup recently, I guess.
Yeah, Ovechkin got his. You know, that's cool.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, the
well-
Washington Wizards are.
They're terrible.
If there's 2 teams that everyone forgets about in the NBA, and by the way, one of them's in the playoffs this year, and nobody's talking about them. Nobody ever talks about the Washington Wizards
Orlando Magic.
or Orlando Magic.
No.
Nobody
Mm.
cares about the
Why
Orlando.
would you?
And they're in the playoffs. It's like so stupid.
What are some other just like? I feel just Hornets. I guess that's fair to say.
More people talk about the Hornets because Jordan owns them. So there's did.
Yeah.
Is he now? I don't even know if he's still an owner, but yeah.
I think he dipped. I think he got rid of it. I think he funny enough for the
he
guy
went to
who
NASCAR.
gambles-
Michael Jordan went to NASCAR. Got a NASCAR team, started winning.
I mean, NASCAR is probably more exciting than watching any one of their games. So
Yes, 100%, 100%. Definitely the Washington Wizards. Wait, who was? Okay, God. Now we're just gonna go on tangents for the rest of the show. I don't care. I had more stuff, but I think we're just gonna do this because it's my show and we're making it interesting.
let's just roll. Let's go.
Who? Okay, so the Washington Wizards ended up. God, dude, 15-67.
Oof. Hang on though. Can you see how good or bad Jordan Poole did? Were his numbers better or just worse? Because there were some Shaq in a full moments I saw, and I was like, damn. Like,
We've talked about Jordan Poole on this show. He is, though, not good. Just not good. Not a good teammate. Not a good player.
what's crazy?
15-67. That is so bad. However, they weren't even the worst team in the league this year.
Was it Detroit? Was Detroit
It
worse?
was Detroit.
Mhm.
14-68 by 1 game.
Is it
And
weird?
you know what's going to happen? Neither one of those teams will get that stupid lottery ball to get the first pick.
Is it weird that like I would rather still be a Detroit Pistons fan
No.
than be a Wizard fan? Because
No,
I don't think
Detroit has legacy. They've won.
That's
They beat the
moxie,
Lakers.
you know?
They beat the Lakers with that All-Star team to win a championship.
Yeah, with their boy Rip.
Yeah, with Rip Hamilton.
Yeah.
And the Wallaces. She and Ben. You got who else? You got Chauncey Billups on that team.
Didn't they have Tayshaun Price too, or
Tayshaun Prince?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Tayshaun Prince.
They were such an ugly team.
They won. They won ugly, but just enough to win a championship.
And literally to like end Shaq and Kobe's like run.
What is Washington Wizards? When I think of the Washington Wizards, I think of didn't like Gilbert Arenas shoot somebody in the locker room or something? Like that's all I think.
So there's like two things.
Jordan played for them for a while. I remember that.
There's like two things I know about the Washington Wizards. Jordan played when they had those wild blue jerseys.
And they weren't good then.
And Paul Pierce called game. That's it.
Oh yeah.
You call bank? No, I call game. That's their legacy. As a whole franchise, they've got two moments.
Damn. Eminem would not approve. Not at all. Yeah, damn. That's pretty terrible.
Like if I had to choose between a 9-win basketball team and a franchise that literally has two moments since its existence, I'm taking the 9-win team.
I'm counting the Gilbert Arenas gun in the locker room moment as a moment.
Okay. For a little spice, you know? All right. I can work with that.
Yeah, exactly. So, wow, man. Ugh. So who's your we all know you're a Packers fan. Let's just dive into who's your basketball team then?
So I wasn't the biggest basketball fan growing up as a kid. It wasn't a sport I really followed. I really liked Dwayne Wade as a kid. And I think one of the best finals performances in my lifetime was Dwayne Wade against the Mavs.
That's fair.
Averaging 34, like 7 and 8 was crazy to me. And to outshine Shaq in his prime, I thought was wild.
That was past Shaq's prime.
Close to his end of his prime, the back end of his prime still. So I was a big fan of Dwayne Wade and the Heat. I kind of fell off them when LeBron kind of did his whole decision thing.
That was so dumb.
Okay,
can we talk about that now? Are we past it, or we could just say, like, I'm not like everybody? Can we all just agree that was stupid? I know he won championships, but he lost his first one to Kawhi Leonard and an old Spurs team. But still,
he lost his first one to Dirk, hitting that.
Was it the Mavs? And then the second one was to the San Antonio Spurs and the old Spurs. Okay, can we talk about how dumb that was? And then the Kevin Durant doing his whole my decision and
no, see, his was worse. You
think Kevin Durant was worse? Freaking LeBron James had a 60 minutes pretty much with Barbara Walters announcing what he was doing. That was pretty cringy, man.
Yeah, no, it was. But LeBron, and I'm not the biggest LeBron fan, but to his credit, he literally did everything for that franchise, for the Cavs at the time. They had literally guys like you and me playing with him.
Yeah, well, okay.
And then he goes to Miami. And Miami's team was good, and they were dominant, but like KD, he does my next chapter.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Leaving a Western Conference, finals. He was up 3-1 on the Warriors. He choked it away.
Well, they all did. So did Westbrook. So did
right. But I mean, had beef with Westbrook.
Yeah.
Then leaves, and
James Harden was on that team too.
And my first NBA game was Golden State, Boston Celtics, Boston's old Big Three against Nate Robinson and Andre Biedrins.
That's a
and Bogut had just been traded for Monte Ellis, so I didn't even get to see Monte Ellis play. Steph Curry had ankle injuries, so I never even got to see him.
Oh, God.
And Kevin Garnett hit one of the sweetest mid-range daggers I've ever seen. So I started following the Warriors, and then a year later, they're kind of frisky. They get Clay and Draymond. The year after that, they make the playoffs, and then the dynasty starts. And then Durant does his next chapter thing, wins 2 rings, and then because Draymond calls him out, he leaves. And now what do we have as Kevin Durant's legacy? You know?
Well, he is a multiple champion and a multiple MVP of the finals winner.
He is. But I mean,
That's it. But he had to do it with help.
he did. But I mean, I don't.
And then, okay, so when it's all said, okay, let's talk about this for a second. When it's all said and done, let's talk 10 years from now. And we look back. Who do you think people will respect more? Kevin Durant or Kawhi Leonard?
Ooh.
Because Kawhi Leonard won a title literally by himself.
He did.
For 2 teams.
He did. And you know what? He was easily the best player on those teams each time.
So he has 2 titles, 2 teams, 2 MVPs of those titles. Kevin Durant has 2 titles, right? 2 MVP of both.
Yep.
Or was it a third? I think he may win a third. No,
he
actually,
made
no.
2 on the third. He tore his Achilles.
That's right. That's right. So 2 MVPs, same team with Steph Curry, with Thompson in his prime, with Draymond Green. I think Kawhi Leonard, when it's all said and done, will be looked at as a better player, better overall legacy than Kevin Durant. So especially now. I mean, what just happened with the Suns?
Right. No, I think this is big for him. And I don't know what the Suns do next. They're kind of screwed with how their whole setup is kind of set right now. They don't have money. They don't have draft picks. There are reports like that with Booker wants to be a Knick now, which seems crazy. You just lost.
James Dolan would never.
No.
He's too good. He needs he needs one of those mid players that he could just hype up as they're better than they are, like Randall. You know what I mean?
They need a point guard, frankly.
Well, they have one.
They don't have one. They play mercenary ball. Yeah. They play who gets to do ISO next.
Yeah, that's true. I'll give you that.
But I mean, I think people will
Brunson is kind of a point guard, I guess. He's kind of a combo guard, two-way guard.
I think to go back to your question, I think people might lean towards Kawhi because the magic that was the Toronto run. Like Toronto,
that San Antonio run was pretty damn good too, man. Against the Heat, against the big three, against LeBron, against Bosh, against Wade. Like that was what he did was incredible. I think, like arguably, he was more incredible in that series than he was against the Warriors. Now,
so the only problem with the Warriors one is because they had so many injuries. Like you had Durant go out, game 3, game 4?
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
You had DeMarcus Cousins go out game 4.
Okay.
And then you had Klay Thompson go out game 5 when he was dropping 30. And all the energy was at Golden State. So I think people will look at the numbers between the two at that point and lean Durant. And just because he was so offensively gifted, Kawhi Leonard's kind of just a weird story.
It's a great story. And you know what? The story is going to continue this year, my friend.
There's no way.
Yes.
There's some franchises that are just doomed, and the Clippers are one of them.
Ah!
I'm sorry.
You just jinxed me! Payback.
I do think you beat the Mavs, though. I do think you beat the Mavs.
I'm a little worried. I'm more worried about the Mavs than I am the Oklahoma City Thunder.
That's true. Honestly, I think the team that's the most dangerous right now, I think all the momentum in the world is with Minnesota.
No.
They just swept the Suns, who, sure, we all knew aren't as good as they thought they were.
Minnesota will get Denver up next.
They will. But Jamal might be hurt.
No, he's playing tonight.
He is.
No, he's not. He's on the bench. No, wait, no, but he's in uniform. Okay.
He's in uniform.
17-16 right now.
I'm sure he'll play, and I'm sure he'll probably get his 22. He'll probably go 7 of 17. You know, not great, but not bad. Jokic and MPJ will probably carry the team tonight, close it out. But, I mean, the Timberwolves just got some swagger about them. And they have the height and the size and the reach that can
You know who else had swagger about them was the Memphis Grizzlies last year, too.
It felt undeserved, though. It felt unearned.
It did, especially with the Ja Morant stuff and everything like that. I don't know. I like Anthony Edwards. I do. I think to be the face of the NBA, like they're saying, he's a little too cocky for that because you kind of want like I could see Shai Gilgeous Alexander being the face before Anthony Edwards, only because he's more likable. Because Anthony Edwards kind of has that, like not quite LeBron, but like just grit. That's kind of like not. Yeah.
See, SGA reminds me a lot of like Derrick Rose in the sense of he's an incredible athlete and he's incredibly quiet to himself, kind of humble. And I think OKC allows him to be that way.
He's starting to come out a little bit more. If you haven't noticed recently, he's being more talkative and more like superstar-y. But
when it comes to just like, I think that swagger helps Anthony Edwards. I think that's part of what makes his game.
It makes it must watch, and he's going to be probably on the cover of NBA 2K whatever next year. Most likely, it's probably going to be him. If there was odds on that, I would put it on right now that he'd be the cover of that. The NBA was stupid not to make him the cover of that game next year. But yeah, is what it is. Okay, so who do you got in the NBA Finals as we stand right now?
I mean, it'd be stupid not to say Boston. So we'll just say Boston's a given because the East is so beat the hell.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the things I think I'm going to give you what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you a dream scenario. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Because what I think is going to happen is this: Minnesota, 1 year away. They probably lose to Denver in 6, maybe a frisky 7. And then Denver beats out either OKC or whoever they'll play next, or whoever
the Clippers or the Mavericks.
Yeah, Clippers. I think it's the Nuggets are. I won't say in a league of their own, especially if they're beat up. But I think they just have that we've been here before, we know what we're doing kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be like Denver's last year of winning a title before they get like 2 years off. So it's probably Denver, Boston, and I'd probably take Denver in 5. I think I don't know how you can trust Boston, frankly. They're an untrustworthy team.
Yeah, last year was very much a disappointment. The last couple of years, actually. And Porzingis, by the way, tonight left with a non-contact injury. And if it's a bad one, they say it's just some sort of strain or he'll miss the next game for sure. Mm-hmm. But they should take care of business against the Heat. But if he's out for a long period of time throughout the playoffs, that could create some strain here. And I could see a team like Cleveland or someone coming in there who has a lot of front court depth. They're like the only other team in the East right now that has front court depth with Mobley and whatnot. I think they could give them a run for the money, but I think it's Celtics. And on the other side, I'm still sticking with my gun. I think it's going to be Clippers versus Denver in the Western Conference Finals. And I still think the Clippers win in 7. And then they go to the championship and the Celtics win. I think the Celtics win this year.
That's such an ugly finals. All right, I'm going to give you the dream scenario here. All right?
Okay, what's the dream scenario?
Off chance, right?
Okay.
Minnesota finds a way.
Oh, God.
Maybe Jamal. Hang on. Just hang on a second. You know, Jamal Murray maybe has his pulled calf. He just isn't who he should be, right? They find a way to upset the Nuggets. The world is shocked. Minnesota goes on to beat Clippers, whatever. Eastern Conference Finals, Boston, New York. And
I could see that happening.
New York with their grit, with their crazy fans.
No way.
This is dream. This is
okay. All right. This is a nightmare for me.
We're in dreamland. Right? We're in dreamland.
People know we don't like the Knicks here, but it Rants.
We're in dreamland. Okay.
All right.
Jalen Brunson, the little engine that could, just finds a way with a bunch of just gritty New Yorker spirit, right?
New Yorkers.
Yeah,
the Knicks.
Yeah. And then you get just these 2 gritty, grimy teams in the ugliest looking finals you've ever seen. Minnesota, New York Knicks. Could you imagine an uglier finals?
Yes. The Orlando Magic versus the New Orleans Pelicans.
That is ugly. Well,
that would be terrible.
That being said, it would be cool to see Zion in a finals if he'd ever play.
If he's healthy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That'd be a Western Conference Finals of the Orlando Magic versus the Washington Wizards next year. That'd be
I mean, look, I'm not going to say their hopes are dead. Pelicans are up 3 right now. Pelicans are leading.
No, they're down 3. Oh, in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're up.
Look, they're
That's
down
not dead.
3-0, but I mean, if you win
What
one
if
game, you're still
what
in
if
it.
the Orlando Magic are the team in the East, not the Knicks, that grit it out and find a way to make the finals?
That would be some magic. I couldn't name you
Elliott,
one.
name 2 players.
I
on the
couldn't
Orlando
name you
Magic.
one. I couldn't even do you that. I think they've
Not
got
even, not even Banchero?
I think they got a kid named Pablo. I don't know.
Paolo Banchero.
Paolo. Apologies. Yeah. No.
Pablo.
I don't know. That's not. Dude, how do Orlando Magic feel?
To us, Pablo?
Pablo. You know the guy from Backyard Basketball? Pablo. Unstoppable.
They got to bring that back. They are, aren't they? Bring that back? Or someone's trying to buy it?
Jason Kelsey's trying to buy it. Yeah.
Hey, they should get Travis involved because he got some money now.
He did. He just got that extension, which is like hey, you get to retire here. Congrats.
Yeah, and he still makes 1/10 the amount of money that his girlfriend does.
Hey, man, it's not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's life.
I mean, being a sugar baby, it's not all bad.
You think Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift will get married?
No.
You don't?
No.
There's odds on this, by the way, on them getting engaged. There's odds.
There were odds that he was going to propose to her at the Super Bowl.
That's true.
I lost money on that.
That's right. You said they would. I was like, what are you thinking?
I painted the picture in my head, and
There's still that lovey-dovey stage, man. That ain't happening.
You're telling me that's not the most Taylor Swift thing you've ever heard of?
I guess, yeah. It could be the most Travis Kelce thing I've ever heard of, too. If you
maybe
look at it the other way, too. Yeah.
Maybe he's the hopeless romantic. We didn't know.
I bet he is. Just look at him.
He's a little soft. He's a little soft.
Yeah, and his outfits. Yeah.
If Taylor went up to him and was like, babe, I'm feeling a rom-com and a pint of Haagen-Dazs night, he'd be like,
oh, let's go.
I'm glad you said something.
My best friend's wedding it is. Shall we?
Yeah, he presses a button. Behind him is a whole shelf of DVDs.
Notting Hill, alphabetized.
Just Friends, Ryan Gosling. Like, I love this
he has them all. I bet he does, dude. A DVD, not even Blu-ray.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. That was a lot of fun. I don't want to keep you any more tonight. We're going to watch the end of this game. And when it gets to halftime, bet on it. That's what wins, everybody. That's what wins. Bet on halftime in the NBA. You'll be winners. So you're happy with the Green Bay Packers draft?
I am.
Both feel that the Washington Wizards suck.
They're just hopeless.
That I'm no longer a jinx.
I'll give you the week pass. All right. We got to see what happens this Friday because that's the blind bets go on. But
yes,
I'll give you till blind bets, and then we'll see.
So I got
you bet again. If you hedge my bets again, then we're gonna have a problem. That's the thing.
I came in prepared, and I ended up going. I think I went. Well, 1, 2. I went 2 and 2.
Okay.
Again.
3 and 1. Not to toot my own horn, but you know.
Yeah. Well, one of your 3 was one that was a hit off of mine, which I said the spread, so that we both won that one. We both won the Celtics game, right? Or which one did we win? The Milwaukee game. We
won
both
the Milwaukee game, yeah.
We both won because I took the cover and you took So.
I took overtime.
You took overtime. Yeah, you did take overtime too. So bet on the live stats. Yeah, just end the show with me real quick. Then we'll call it a merry night. I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. My Rants on the Better Sports Network at Better Network and all your favorite social media platforms. Make sure you guys in your mornings watch The Drew Show on New Rock 104 with my boy Elliott Cams, aka Elliott Jams. And he has so many nicknames, it's not funny. But hey, what can you do? Tell everyone real quick where to find you.
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Elliott Cams. You can find me on Instagram at New Rock Elliott. You can also, listen in on The Drew Show Monday through Friday mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. You can also check me out on New Rock 104.1 from 3 to 7 p.m. on Saturdays. SoundCloud, Spotify. Just type in The Drew Show. Bada boom, bada bing. You got us.
By the way, it's not your typical like local morning radio show. It's actually a lot of fun and more like a talk show. It's more like what you hear on Sirius XM than is what you hear on like, but no, the weather outside is 70 degrees and we're talking sports today. Yeah, so the Mets won that. No, it's none of that stuff. It's actual two guys having a really good time laughing, and girl and Jess, obviously, and me on Fridays, and just having a really good time.
You mentioned the Mets. I forgot. I had breaking news from you for the Mets.
We got breaking news from the Mets organization. What do we got here?
Totally forgot, but we got so carried away. Looks like they're looking for a new Mr. and Mrs. Mets. Hang on, let me see if I can even see that.
Oh.
So maybe you're in the New York area. I don't know if you can see that at all, but they're actually hiring new Mets.
They got divorced?
No, you can hire both of them. They're looking for.
No, I mean the old ones got divorced. They're looking for a new couple.
I think they're just looking for maybe like a trial phase. You know, I don't know. Maybe the relationship's on the rocks right now while they go to counseling.
Did Mr. Met cheat on Mrs. Met with a foul ball?
You know what? That's what I'm hearing things. I don't know if it's necessarily true, but I do know. Oh,
what do we got here? We got
I got my nephew. I got my nephew in here. He heard about the Mets splitting up, and he was so upset about it.
He's so upset about Mr. and Mrs. Met splitting up. So what do you have to do to sign up for this job and get it?
I'm hoping you just gotta find a significant other or pretend you have one.
Oh, you do know how. You have to know how to play a trumpet, though.
That's fine. We can figure it out.
Whatever it is.
I mean, you probably just have to be a bit of an alcoholic to deal with being a Mets fan, and you know.
Dude, I've never met somebody who was a mascot that wasn't an alcoholic.
Comes with a job.
That's going on Twitter later. All right. From myself, from Elliott Cams, from Better Thomas, who was on earlier. Shout out to Better Thomas, Ranch on the Street. From Elliott's nephew in the corner. We wish you guys a merry, merry Monday. Enjoy the rest of the game. Hopefully you win your halftime bets. I'm going to tweet out mine, actually, when it comes. So check it out at Edward Raus. At Edward Raus on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're an alcoholic, don't worry. There is a job for you. You can become a professional sports mascot. For myself, the Best Sports Network, at Elliott Cams. We'll see you next week, my fellow ranters, where we get Heavy T back on and tell him not to jump off a cliff because the Atlanta Falcons pick from Michael Penix maybe wasn't that so bad. Matt Sells will be here to tell them why. Until then, have a good week. And as always, shout out to our boy, Taj McGowan.